Hello, 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 everybody coming in. How are y'all? How are y'all doing? Hey, everyone coming in. So, I wanted to have this conversation and talk because I had this conversation yesterday with somebody about being a toxic parent and how they felt some type of way about parents saying that children are manipulative. So, I would like to branch out on a conversation and have other people chime in and give their opinions and their thoughts on it. Let me know by giving this video a like. And if you're new and you're just hopping in here, make sure you guys are subscribing onto my channel. But yeah, I would like to dive into this topic in this conversation, and maybe I can learn something, and maybe I'm perceiving things in a different way, or let's just see how it goes. But if you're coming in here, give this video a like. This is the only time I could do this live because obviously the babies are asleep. They're taking naps. Otherwise, I will be doing this at a later time. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and have a open discussion about what's going on. I'm gonna let give it some time and let people get in here, and while I drink my coffee, and I'm gonna set everything up on my end. Over here, so I have that ready. Bring this back up. All right, so we just want to get started, and this live will be up for other people to watch and enjoy if they would like. So initially the topic, or the conversation I should say, started with a question, or not so much of a question, but like a statement. I'm trying to bring up the post that the young lady made, so that way you guys have some context behind what I'm talking about, because I don't want it. Let me go back. I'm looking for the actual post because it's a lot. It's a lot of conversations that was had. Let me go to this one. Okay, this is the one. So I'm gonna bring it up on the screen for y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about. That's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Where is it? No, that's not it. That's not it. Trying to find it. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. All right, I found it. Finally. Finally, I found it. So y'all can see. A little bit more. Alright. Because I want to make it big enough for y'all to see. Alright, so it'll be this post, not the other ones. This one right here. So, she made a post and she said, a lot of people don't realize this, but sometimes the real reason you struggle with your kids is because you don't even like them. And hey, Rory. Yeah, so that was her comment. And so I commented and, and I explained in my point of view that, you know, it may come off and looks like I don't like my child, but in the sense, my issue was the fact that I didn't like myself. Like that was what my response was. I realized that it wasn't that I had an issue with my child. I had an issue with myself, and I was struggling with loving myself and struggling to figure out what the core issue was behind it. And so, and I told her, children manipulate and they can sense, when you lack any self love, they can sense that you lack any self respect, any of that stuff, Children can sense it, they can tell. And when I told her, in the sense of like, you manipulating, it's because we allowed it as the parent. We allowed our children to manipulate us in a certain way. And only because we allowed the behaviors, we allowed the back talking, or if that's what you consider back talking. To me, it's not considered back talking. To me, that's not how I look at it when it comes to my children. When they say certain things and they talk to me about certain things, I don't view it as back talking. But for her, she got really upset in her feelings. Hey, Coco, she got really upset in her feelings. And, she made another post talking about, I can't believe that adults call children manipulative, or they say that the children manipulate. And she was like, and same thing when it comes to like a baby, babies don't manipulate. It's not possible, da da da. And then I was like, okay. And then she went again into another post and said she was going to go live. So I'm going to show you guys the live. And then we're going to react to it. And then I'm going to stop and, give my sense and opinions on certain things about what she's saying, because she's saying that I needed to pause and reflect on the situation. Let me see if I can bring up the comment for it. Let me see. I can't see this. I'm old. I'm blind, y'all. My eyes is blind. Okay. What I'm trying to do is figure out what's what. List. I need the name, like the whole name, because this ain't working for me. All right, let's go here. Let's change this to list. Okay. So that was my response to what her post was saying. Um, it's like I realized I didn't hate my child, but I hated myself, and in turn, I degraded myself and lacked self respect to the point of depression. Once I acknowledged it and saw that I needed to love me more and respect myself instead of trying to fix or change who I was able to put up the boundaries and be more selfish with loving me, that everything else became less problematic. Kids can tell when you lack self respect and love, and will use it to manipulate you, especially if they are your reflection. And that was my response to what she said to the post that I showed you guys. So it's not like I didn't I realized I wasn't you know bashing, or I wasn't clashing with my child. I was clashing with myself, with self. You know what I'm saying? And so, her response, you know, was this, that, I don't believe children manipulate the way a lot of you say. I believe that children have needs because some parents do not or feel they are unable to fill those needs, which is the parent's duty. Then children respond negatively. And that's true. Like I wasn't against what she said. It's true because I lacked within myself. I was not able to provide my child what she needed, or any of my children, all six of them. I was not able to provide them what they actually needed. So it's not like, I was, you know, wrong. Like she was wrong in that point. She's right. Like obviously I'm lacking something, you know what I'm saying? So, she took it the wrong way, I guess. I don't think she understood what I was saying, because if I'm showing myself to have lack of respect, lack of self-love, lack the ability to hold space for myself, my children are going to see that, and not in the sense of like they see it and they're going to use that to manipulate me. No, what I meant by when I said manipulate was that, if I'm allowing certain behavior, if I'm allowing for certain things to happen, or if I am lacking in an area, obviously I'm teaching my child how to be manipulative. Like children learn that because of what we're teaching them. It may not necessarily be like how we're talking to them. It may not necessarily be not allowing them to speak their minds and expressing themselves and talking to themselves and stuff like that. It's what we are allowing. And this goes for like all relationships. It's not necessarily just, our children. It's also, partners and parents and in-laws and whoever else that we got issues with that we're lacking in. I say you are a supportive parent and you do care about them, but it can be hard balancing the situation in your life and your mental health. And that's true. Because, I struggled with trying to balance everything. I was stretching myself so thin that I lost myself in the whole aspect of everything. Children can manipulate and take over, but parents also are held accountable for their children's actions, and your child didn't listen, and that's on them. Exactly. Like in her mind, I don't understand why she was not understanding what I was saying. And I even offered an opportunity for her to come on live with me so that we can discuss it more. Maybe I'm not understanding, maybe I'm using the wrong words to describe or to explain. And it's not like I had to explain, but I was trying to have a dialogue with her, and I was trying to, communicate with her and explain to her, like, you're correct. Like, you're right. Like, and I don't know. It's just, I don't feel like a lot of parents hate their kids. I feel like we just hate ourselves. And she was right in that. We do hate ourselves. We do struggle with a lot of issues within ourselves that we can, formulate into words. We don't like, and I've even said this before, like, I don't know how to manage my emotions. I don't know how to cipher through my thoughts and my emotions and not allow those things to control my actions. And so therefore, how am I supposed to teach that to my child? It's not possible, which is why I decided to go into therapy, why I decided to jump into parenting classes, so that way I can learn the best, techniques so that I can have healthy behavior habits and be a better parent, because obviously I'm lacking somewhere to where it's affecting my kids. And so, I guess for her, she just wasn't understanding it, but she decided to make a 30-minute live going on a rant. And I wanted to share with you guys, and we can discuss it and talk about it. You know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna make this smaller for y'all so y'all can watch her live as well. Yeah, like I'm not wrong. I'm not saying that there's a right and wrong way, but I don't. I think what it was is that she's been saying it for so long that kids cannot manipulate, um I think because she admitted that she was, triggered by what I said. I'll let y'all watch it for yourself so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Um, and I wasn't saying like in a bad for it to be a bad thing, you know. I mean, it is what it is. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? And she titled the live, "Are You a Toxic Parent?" Which is why I titled mine this way. You know? Uh, you both are right. It's hard to talk about stuff like that, and I've been in drama and stuff, and it's hard to talk and agree on. For me, it wasn't really about agreeing or disagreeing, and she said the same thing. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing.
Hey y'all, all right, I'm doing this live.
The topic, if there's any audio.
Is are you a toxic parent? Y'all like that word?
This is a new setup for me, y'all. So please bear with me. Trying to bring it up for y'all. Let's see. I'm gonna bring it up on this end for y'all so y'all can watch it with me. Where's it at? Where's it at? I can't breathe, y'all. I can't. I don't know what's going on. All right. Can you tell me if you can hear it now?
And some experiences I've been having over the last.
Did y'all hear that? I'm glad y'all said you told me that. Oh. Okay. All right, let me go back.
In a relationship, and this happens in any kind of relationship. And today I'm going to be talking about the parent-child relationship. And some experiences I've been having over the last couple days, I made posts about in the last 24 hours, and some responses to that post and these experiences I've been having the last few days is what's prompting this live video. Now, not experiences with my own children, but my observing of someone else going through something with their child and them coming to me for help. Okay. So I made a post, and I really want to talk about the way people think children are manipulative, and I'm gonna try to do this video without getting too upset. It does upset. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not much triggers me, but shit like this triggers me. Things like this trigger me. And it is because of my own experience with my own mother, which I'm going to share a few things that my mother has said to me. One of the things she said was back in February of 2020, and the other thing was just a couple months ago, right? We're going to get to that in a second, though. But the way people think that children can be manipulative is that's crazy to me. And like I said, toxicity comes from our inability to be self-aware, our extreme self-awareness, and then our inability or unwillingness to be accountable and responsible. So accountable means you can see your actions, your own actions, and how they contribute to a situation. You can see your own actions and how they contribute to a situation. And responsibility means you have the ability to respond to what you give back according to what you contributed. So there's self-account.
All right, so I'm going to pause that there, right? So what does manipulate mean? Let's look that up. Because, you know, we got to... So one of the questions that I seen on here was, what is a manipulating person? And it's defined as any attempt to sway someone's emotions to get them to act or feel a certain way. Okay. So I agree with what she's saying. I'm not denying what she's saying. She's saying that, you know, accountability is about being able to see your own actions, and having self responsibility is also, you know, taking accountability for how you respond to situations. But if you think about when it comes to a child, you know, being manipulative, it's because we allowed our child, meaning it's my fault, we allowed our child to manipulate us, and even babies do it. You know, Azara right now, like if I tell her no, she goes because she, like, it's what she was taught. She knows that, like, she knows that this is how, like if I behave this way, I can try and get what I want out of the situation. Because, you know, we laugh, we say certain things, it's how we respond to the child after they make a certain response, whether if it's like the lip, you know how babies do the lip, or they give you the puppy eyes, or they whine. So when I said that my child manipulates, I'm saying that my child is using tactics that I taught her, or any child. I'm just saying her in general because I'm talking about the baby. It's because I taught them how to be that way. Children can be manipulative because of how we respond, how we act based off of their their behavior, and their behavior is coming from how we think, how we speak, how we act in any situation. So I don't deny what she's saying, because what she's saying is truth. But what I wanted her to understand was that, like, children can be manipulative, and it's our fault. Like, we need to point the finger at ourselves.
Accountability, and then there's self-responsibility. Accountability is taking into account how you contribute to situations, relationships, experiences, events, etc. And your responsibility is your ability to respond to what you get back according to what you contributed. I hope that made sense. This is especially true with your own children. Bless you.
My webcam died.
This is especially true with your own children. Okay, your children, yes, they are a mirror of you. Your children come from you. And so you gotta know and expect and anticipate that they are going to trigger you. Mm-hmm. Period. Your kids are gonna fucking trigger you.
Yep.
They're here to trigger you. Yep. They are the future. Children are literally the future. So if your children are the future and you are the present, you're the future as well. The children are the real future, right? Because the way we mold and shape them today is shaping the world for tomorrow. And so you're the present and you had a life before them. You're the past and you're the present, and then the child is the present and the future. So when you are being triggered, you're literally being triggered for self-growth, self-awareness, and so that you can shift and evolve and grow with the times. That's what children are here for. Their needs change. The basic needs don't really change. Food, shelter, love, affection, time, presence. Those things don't change. But then there are certain...
Pay attention to what she's about to say, because later on, she says something else that contradicts this.
Worldly things that children need to grow up that changes. Like, for instance, today a child needs a computer, right, to do schoolwork. But before computers were even in existence, that wasn't the case. That wasn't something they needed. So this is what I mean by it changes. These are the kind of things that change. What the children need from the world changes as the generations go on. So part of the reason why you're being triggered is because the needs are changing. And the needs are changing because we are evolving. We are evolving as a species. So let's just put that out there first. Your child is going to trigger you. Your child is supposed to trigger you. And how you respond to that is going to 100% be determined or dependent upon your awareness, self-awareness, your self-accountability, and your self-responsibility. Because one thing that pisses me off, like I said, that triggers me about adults.
She's pissed off. Like, she's really pissed off. Like, she's livid. She's so mad at this point. And I don't understand why what I said triggered her to the point that, like, she's mad. Like,
is the way people label children, treat children unfairly, neglect children, dislike children, all based on because they're fucking triggered by children. And they project the pain of their trigger onto children. And it pisses me off because if your kids can't get you to wake up to yourself, then nobody fucking can. Nobody will. If your own children can't get you to wake up to yourself, nobody will. Not
Rory, she's snappy. She's being snappy, and she's bothered and upset because you'll be able to hear what she says, because like
that perfect lover, not that perfect job, not the right house, not the right car, no amount of fucking money in the world, none of that shit. None of that shit. If your kids don't wake you up to the truth of who you are, to me, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing you can be.
And mind you, like, and I've said this before on my channel that, like, when my child ran away, that woke me the fuck up. That woke me up and was like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I need to change what the fuck I'm doing. I'm being, the toxic parent. I'm doing I knew in that moment I was doing something wrong, and so therefore, like, there were certain situations that I continued to degrade myself. I continued to disrespect myself. And in turn, not only was I was doing it to myself, but the way it was coming out on the outside, it was showing to my child that I was disrespecting her. I was neglecting her. I was not showing her the love that she needed or the attention that she needed. Or with any of my children, it's not just her, but like, I agree. She's like, everything that she's saying, I agree with her 100%. But the only thing that I disagree with her is the fact that children cannot be manipulative, and it's false because we're at us as the parents, we teach that.
Because you literally have the responsibility. You literally are doing it. Whether you're doing a good job or a terrible fucking job. It doesn't matter. Whether you're doing good at this or bad at this, by whoever standard is not even my point. The point is this.
However, she said it's by anybody's standards, but from what I've received from this, it seems like she has a specific standards that you as a person, as a parent, needs to uphold in order to get any respect or not to be triggered, for her not to be triggered. I mean, that's what I'm receiving from this. Am I the only one? Because that's what I'm getting. Like, from only 8 minutes into this, I'm getting the feeling that, like, her standard is at a certain point to where if you don't meet that standard with her, then you're a toxic parent immediately off the bat.
You are shaping the future, raising them. And the fact that we don't take this shit more seriously, it pisses me off. It triggers me. It pisses me off. I go on groups. I go in comment sections all the time, and I see comments of people like, "Oh, the kids today are lost. The kids today."
And when she's saying comments, she's talking about mine. She's talking about my comments, because I comment on her stuff all the time, like sharing my perspective of where I am in my journey and where I am in my healing process. It's not to discredit her. It's not to, say she's wrong or anything like that. It's just to give insight for other people that are, involved in the conversation or curious about what she's talking about, to tell them like this is where I'm at and this is what I'm learning in this moment.
And some people even think it's because we not whooping our kids on, which is just dumb. It's just dumb shit. And people are making these comments based on, and I can tell because I'm a spiritual practitioner, psychologist.
I roll.
Spiritual counselor. I'm a self-aware individual, very deep.
I roll on the spiritual counselor. I roll.
We studied over the last more than a decade on this topic, and living my experiences and doing the self-work every single day, all day. I can see where that shit is really coming from. People are triggered. They don't know what to do. And so they blame the thing outside of them, whether that's your child, your lover, your boss, your neighbor. People get triggered and project it onto the outside world. And
that's what I was doing. I ain't going front. I was doing the exact same thing. I was projecting my issues onto my kids. I was. And I was doing it for, I want to say, the last 5 years. Because before all this, I was doing the gentle parenting. I was doing the attachment parenting. I was doing unschooling. I was already in that process of trying to heal myself and trying to get out of that mentality of how I was raised. But life changes. And she said that in the beginning, life changes. Things changed. Instead of me being the mother of stay-at-home mom all the time and constantly giving all my attention to my children, I stopped. And it was abruptly stopped to the point where I was focusing all my attention on outside things, work, money, making sure bills was paid, going back to school to pursue things that I needed because I didn't have any children at home. Like, at this point, when that happened, Journey was the last one to go to school. So once he went off to school, I had more free time to be able to do what I wanted. And that was where that change happened. Good morning, everybody coming in, or afternoon. It's afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody coming in. If you do something wrong, your child needs to speak up about it because both of you are learning and adjusting to the situation. Correct. And that's one thing about my kids. They have no filter. They're going to say what they want to say, regardless if it hurts my feelings or not. And 99.9% it hurt my feelings. And not realizing how to manage my emotions and how to deal with the situation at that time, I projected my feelings, which in turn taught my child how to be manipulative, how to lie, how to steal, how to be sneaky. That's how kids learn.
Blame the world for being triggered. And the worst place to do that is in your relationship with your child. That's the worst place to do it. I made a post about people seeing children as being manipulative. And I mean, I've heard people say babies are manipulative. Babies. And this is how we came up with the cried out method and the self-soothe method and all this other dumb shit. All this other dumb shit because we don't know how to regulate our own thoughts and feelings and emotions. Mm-hmm. Therefore, because we have power and control and authority over a child, we project the responsibility of emotional and mental control onto them.
Pause. I'm going to pause it there because I feel like as a parent, it is our job to teach our child how to regulate their emotions and how to regulate their thoughts and their actions. And if a parent doesn't know how to do that, we're not going to be able to teach our child that. But at some point, it's on us to raise them and teach them how to do that. But then once they get to a certain point, it does become their responsibility. It does become, because what's the point of us learning ourselves how to have self-accountability and self-responsibility if we're not going to teach that to our child to have the same? That doesn't make any sense. How are we going to teach our child how to be self-accountable and self-responsible if we don't allow them the opportunity to do that? And if they're given that opportunity and they choose to be manipulative, it's because of what we taught them.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. And it's toxic. It's toxic. We all know that children are born innocent. They ain't done shit to nobody, not in this life at least. They ain't done shit to nobody. They ain't done a goddamn thing to anybody. And from the moment these kids are born, and we all project. You're always going to be projecting.
She's projecting.
Period.
She's projecting right now.
The issue comes in that when you are projecting unaware. When your projections are unconscious. But from the moment your child is born, you are projecting love, affection, discomfort, sadness, whatever the fuck you're going through. Your child feels all of that. Especially.
Okay, so she's saying that your child feels all this. So when I say that your child can sense that you lack self-love, you lack and you have self-hate, self-guilt, you're self-degrading, you have no self-esteem, your child can feel that. They can tell that. And for her to tell me that it's impossible. There's no way. They can't manipulate. They can't do that. But if you are saying that your child can sense how you feel and what you're thinking and all that as a child, obviously they can feel that as they get older and as they grow and become more self-aware of themselves and the fact that they can make their own choices and they're more in control of their bodies and their thoughts and their emotions and their actions.
The parent that the child is with the most. And guess what? The absent parent, physically or emotionally, doesn't matter. the absent parent is contributing to the child's energy as well. That's why you gotta stop having babies with motherfuckers you don't like. Stop fucking people you don't like. Duh. Why are you?
I think she's projecting her own situation in that moment because I don't think she realizes that I'm in a relationship or married. So, yeah. So I think this is because she has children of her own. And, yeah, I don't think there's anybody in the picture besides just her with her children. So I think she's projecting herself in this moment because she's triggered and she's pissed off, essentially.
Having sex, y'all. Motherfuckers be laying down with people they don't even like. Stop laying down with people you can't see yourself having a child with. Stop doing
But she
that.
ain't lying, though.
Because what happens is...
But, I mean, she ain't lying, though. Like, what she's saying is facts. Like, a lot of people do lay down with people that they really don't fucking like, and they end up having a kid with them.
This child is born with half of you and half of that parent, even if that parent is...
Exactly, me and 4. You don't realize you don't like the person that you laid with and had a baby with until after the fact. Because I did see something on, I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram, where a dude did a podcast and he literally said that he manipulates women into believing that he's going to be that man for them, and then eventually stops being that man for that he portrayed to pretend to be. Because he told the female, "This is who I am," and he played the part for, you know, a certain amount of time, and then the woman is thinking in her mind she's still waiting for that dude to come back and still continue to, for the person that she was told who he was to come back, and he's not coming back because he lied to you about who he really was. And that happens a lot in relationships. So it's not just, you know, a lot of people always say it's on you to figure it out, but at the same time, like, it's a lesson behind it too. Like, you know, the only one that's toxic is her. But yeah, like, that's the thing. They are not born innocent and fresh and pure, perfect. If they have different parents who raise different kids, your child grows into who they are over time, and they don't appear and know everything. And that's true. I've seen people say that they had perfect upbringings and had everything and anything and great parents and everything, and they still did what the fuck they wanted to do. They still ran the streets. They still stole, lied. They did everything in the sun, did drugs, everything. So it's really, like, not about whether or not children can manipulate. It's about whether or not we are healing ourselves, because at the end of the day, it's about what we're doing for ourselves.
Never around. Guess what? That child is still half the other parent. You're still going to see that other person come out through that child. And what I see a lot of people do is because they don't like the other parent, and they start to, and it's for a lot of people's unconscious. Some parents, I see it as very conscious. Oh, you remind me of your damn daddy. I used to hear that shit. You remind me of your damn daddy. Oh, you mean my dad who you tell everybody beat you and abused you, who ain't shit? I remind you of that guy? Wow. Ooh. That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
I've seen people unconsciously punish their child for dumb shit simply because it reminds them of the other parent they do not like. Why are you fucking people you don't like? See, you're the one with the problem, sir, ma'am, sir. You're the one with the problem. You don't like yourself, so you're fucking people you don't like. Then you're having babies with people you don't like. And then you're raising children not liking them. And you're being toxic to them. And you're keeping this fucked up ass cycle going over and over again. And we wonder why the world is fucked up. We want to blame politicians and Republicans and Democrats. You want to blame the government. You want to blame the community, the lack of this, the white man, Jesus, religion. You want to blame everything when the real power is right fucking inside you. We are all shaping this world. We all have equal power in the way that we are shaping this world. All of us have equal power, especially those of us. Matter of fact, those of us with kids most likely have more power shaping the world. Because if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids being raised by your mentality, that's 10. However many kids you got, that's you times that many kids going out into the fucking world and shaping the world with their actions and their ambitions and their goals and their thoughts and their feelings. You are shaping the world and you're not taking this job serious enough. And it hurts me. I get triggered. I get triggered by that. I've seen people call kids manipulative because a child needs something from the parent, and that parent, for whatever reason, cannot provide what the child needs, and the child becomes difficult to deal with. That's how a child... You listen. Just think of you in a relationship with someone you feel like you're not getting your needs met. A lot of people do this instead of just leaving, which a child can't do. A child just can't get up and leave. They start to when they get like in their teens, though, right? But before that, children just can't get up and leave. You can leave a relationship where you're not getting what you need. And some of you don't even do that. Some of you stay and do everything but leave. Act a fool, cuss them out, busting out windshields, slicing tires, going through phones, beating a nigga, beating a bitch ass. You do everything but leave, all because you feel neglected and treated improperly. But let a child respond to your neglect and they're being manipulative. They're the problem. A child? You don't see how ridiculous you're being? You don't see how absolutely ridiculous you're being in your perception? Your child is the purest, most perfect reflection of you.
So, if my child is a reflection of me and I'm teaching them and they are me in the sense, because she said, you know, if how many children you have a whole bunch of them going out in the world, learning. Obviously, they learn that behavior from me. So they are being manipulative. Because they learn the behavior. It's a learned behavior. Same thing as racism. It's a learned behavior. And sometimes it's not a behavior that they learn from me. It could be unconsciously learned from other people that's in their lives, friends, teachers. It doesn't matter. But it's learned behavior.
And you squander that shit too. It's the reason why I said that children are a gift. Your child is not manipulating you. Your child has needs. And if you perceive manipulation, god damn it, they're mirroring you. You manipulate as well. And this is another thing people don't like to hear and admit. Your child is picking up on your behavior.
Didn't I just say that? Did I not just say that? If my child is being manipulative, it's because they learned the behavior. Did I not just say that? Like, they learned the behavior from me. If I'm the parent and I'm sitting here constantly saying yes, 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 allowing them to speak their minds and say how they feel without any filter, without any limits, because I know me and Ford, you said that you allow your kids to speak their minds, but there's a limit to what you say. I did not allow that. I allowed all of it. Speak your mind, say how you feel, it doesn't matter. If I allow that, of course my child is going to continue to say how she feels, do the certain behaviors that I don't feel comfortable with, or I feel as if it's betrayal or manipulative. It's because I allowed it. I'm going to play out. And if that means my reaction is, and my response, to punish, meaning making arrangements, doing different things, allowing them to change how they change. I might have to end the live and come back. All right. Alrighty, we're back. Hey, Boo Kim. All right, my internet was acting up. I don't know what happened, but the internet was acting up. I don't know why. All right. So, I don't even know where I stopped at. Y'all bring me back. Bring me back. Where I stopped at, because I don't want to keep going without y'all knowing where we was in. Right. Right. She, like, exactly. She said it's not all your fault. Like she says, it's not just you and your behavior. It's not. I have no idea what you did. What you did with that font. But, right, like, make it make sense on, like, in the beginning you said that our child has needs and they need to adapt and grow with the changes of the world, and they need things from the outside world in order to be able to grow and evolve. But it's the same, but then at this point she says, you know, why are you sending your kids to school, public school, and allowing the outside world to raise your kids and mold your kids? But that's what they need, though. If isn't that what you said, that they need that? They need the outside world. They need things from the outside world in order to be able to grow and evolve. Basically, it's life experience. We all do. We all need to go outside in the real world and learn and adapt and evolve from what's going on in the outside world. Hey, Judy.
Space, the time, and opportunity to homeschool. But I highly fucking recommend it. Because you're letting the world shape your child. But that's still a reflection of your decision. Still a reflection of you. And then they hear how you talk to people. When you think your kid don't know what's going on, or you think they're too young to understand your nature of your conversation, what they do understand is tone. Mm-hmm. What they do feel is energy. Everybody feels energy. They hear you talking shit on the phone about their daddy. Hear you talking shit about that bitch you don't like. Whatever the fuck you doing. They hear how you talk to people.
And about people.
They see how you deal with shit. They're watching you. Mm-hmm. And then when you neglect them, they respond with that same negative tone, and you feel like you're being manipulated. They're trying to manipulate. It's absolute rubbish. That's garbage.
So I don't understand how she's saying all these things and then saying it's garbage, and it makes no sense that your child is not being manipulative. They're learning from other areas. You even said it yourself. You said it yourself, how your child is learning how to be manipulative. You said it. They're learning it from you, and that's what I told her. From my lack of self-love, and kids can sense it, and I said that kids can sense how, like, my children sense that I had no self-love, I had no self-esteem, I lacked self-respect. My kids sense that, and she even said, like, you know, your kids can sense your energy. They can tell your energy. Kids can tell what you're lacking. Yes, Shauna, she's mad. She's super mad because I used the specific word manipulate, because I said that children can manipulate you. And when I went to go to the definition of what... No, I'm not using nothing. I'm on live. You're going to wait. You can go upstairs. You can go do something else. You need to go take a nap a little bit longer. So when I use the word to define what is a manipulating person, any attempt to sway someone's emotions to get them to act or feel a certain way. I don't put that blame on my children, for swaying my emotions and my feelings and how I acted. I don't blame my child. But I'm saying it was taught to them on how to be able to manipulate me. Because that's the only way that they were able to do it, is because it was taught to them. If I'm feeling guilty, and I have a lot of self-hate and self-guilt in myself, and if my child is asking me or talking to me a certain way, And I'm allowing them to sway my emotions and my actions. So, yes, they're manipulating me. And it's taught.
Garbage, my nigga. What's really happening is you don't like yourself.
And I said that I hate myself. If I have self-hate,
yourself.
Yes. If I had self-hate, my child senses that energy, and they're going to use that to continue to get what they want because I allowed it. Especially if it's continuous. If it's a habit and continuously becoming a habit over time, they've learned how to use the certain tactics to get what they want out of me. Regardless if it's intentional or unintentional, consciously or unconsciously, it's happening.
And you're projecting that onto your child, and your child is now a victim of your toxicity. And you feel all the rights in the world to do it. You feel right. You feel validated. Whatever the fuck you feel. What you're not doing is taking the time to become self-aware all day, every day. You're not taking the time to really know yourself. So I'm going to give you an example. I shared this, I think, I'm not all the way sure, because sometimes I start writing posts and I don't even post them. But I think I shared something that my mom said to me. Me and my mom have a very difficult, challenging relationship, and always, for as long as I can remember, always have. And I won't get into the details of how it is, but she agrees it's a challenging relationship. And back in 2020, February 2 years ago, she calls me. We're on the phone and we're talking about something, and then she says, "Hey, so I've been thinking. I think I know why. I think I finally understand why our relationship has never been, the way it should be. But I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm still like putting it together in my mind and understanding it myself." I said, "Okay." So then, like a week or two later, I was at her house, and she finally brought it up. And because I had recently, like 4 to 6 months before, just recently had recovered some repressed memories from my childhood where I was being abused, I'm thinking she's going to talk about that. No. This is not a moment of self-awareness for my mother. This is a moment where she's about to blame me. And not just me, but 5-year-old me. She told some story about how her and my dad were in an argument. They went in the room to argue. I busted in the room and I yelled at her, "Just do what he says."
In that moment, she doesn't know this, but she was being manipulative. Because in the beginning of the video, she says that, her mom used to say that her dad was abusive and he was negative and all that stuff. In that moment, when she was 5, she was being manipulative, and she was taught by her parents. She was taught by her parents how to be manipulative. Because she went into the room to get her mother to stop arguing with her father by telling her, just do what he says. And she's not understanding that you were at that age, you were being manipulative. Not saying that it was your fault, but that's what you were taught. You were taught to do that. You were taught how to try and sway your parents' emotions and feelings and actions so that they wouldn't argue and fight. That's what you were taught. And she didn't realize that she gave an example on how she was being manipulative at 5 years old. Because she was taught that. Again, because of the tone and the parents' voice, their actions, the energy that she was feeling as a child. You were taught how to be manipulative. And you use that moment to try and sway your mother's emotions. Because as any parent, if you're arguing and your child comes in there and says something about you guys arguing, you're going to feel like shit. You're going to feel like a bad parent. And so you're going to do whatever it is that you want so that your child does not feel that energy that you're giving out. She was like I have more because I asked her in this and for her to come on here and like let's discuss it, let's talk it. She was hot. She was hotter than fish grease, and then she blocked me because she didn't like my response. Because I told her I was gonna do this live with or without her. I mean, because I think it's a good conversation, and I like what she was saying, like because she wasn't saying anything wrong. Like I like because she not lying in a lot what she's saying, but at the same time, like you can't say that a child is not taught how to be manipulative by the parent, and it's a learned behavior.
Please just do what he says. She said she felt in that moment I took his side, and ever since then she felt like I was never on her side. Basically, like I'm her enemy. From the time I was 5 fucking years old, and I'm telling you right now, as stupid as that shit is, it makes sense why I was treated the way I was treated for the rest of this life I've been in this relationship with her. Makes sense. You've been looking at me as your enemy since I was 5. Because I took my dad's side. What kind of bullshit is that? And I'm not mad. I understand that we as adults have been through shit ourselves. I get it. I know that her shit, that even her perception of that experience is coming from something from her own childhood. I understand that. But at some fucking point, like I said, if your kids don't get you there, I don't think you really want to get there. And this is why it triggers me, because you don't. It's triggering when people don't even want to get there. Your children, your own, they came out of you. Especially as mothers, your child has heard everything and felt everything of you from inside you. Your child has heard your heartbeat from inside you. Your child has heard your thoughts from inside you. Your child has felt your energy from inside you, and vice versa. And this is not enough to make you want to see yourself. That triggers me. It triggers me. I'm triggered by it. I will always speak up for children. I don't care if they're mine or not. I don't care if I know them or not. I'm always going, because it's my inner child that wish somebody had done it for me. Wishes somebody would have took the time to fucking learn and actually observe themselves and educate themselves on how to do this parenting shit. I'm always gonna stick up for kids. But yeah, I've been her enemy since I was 5 years old. And I'm not gonna get into all the ways I was treated since then and probably before, because I've heard other stories of when I was a baby. I think maybe when I was 5, I think that's just her conscious memory of whatever the fuck. That's just her conscious memory. But I know being pregnant with me, my father was abusive. That's why I said I understand where it's coming from. My father was abusive to my mother while she was pregnant with all 3 of us, me and my brothers. Yeah, he was abusive. I know that my mom's experience becoming a mother was not that great. I know that. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at that. I get mad that people are not trying hard enough. And I know you can try harder. I know for a fact you can, because God, the universe, your higher self, your angels, gifted you with a fucking baby. A whole life. That's how I know you can. I know for a fact you can, and you're choosing. You're choosing not to. You're being willfully ignorant, and that is what pisses me off. And you put that on the kids. Then she said something recently. Oh, I just feel like when you... This was a couple months ago. I feel like when you asked me for help. For those of you who don't know, I live in a hotel. Costs $3,500 a month in just hotel rent. Not to, and I got all the other regular bills the rest of you got. And I'm doing it by myself with 2 kids. And nobody in my family helps me. Nobody. She told me a couple months ago, I feel like when you ask for help, you're conning me. You're trying to con me. I said, con you? Out of what? $20? Well, I couldn't even... I said, Mother, do you think this is possibly connected to how you see me as your enemy? Like I'm not on your side or something? You know that shit you told me a couple years ago? Is it possible your perception of me is based on still that?
So, just hearing that, it tells me that what she's feeling and how she feels like I manipulate, like when I said the word manipulate, it was because of this situation. It has nothing to do with what I said. She completely ignored everything that I said because of this experience that she had. And she's a grown woman. So for a grown woman to feel some type of way about her mother telling her that she was conning her or manipulating her to get some money because of her circumstances, which I'm not going to drag her for that, or I'm not going to say anything about it because I was in that situation. I've been in that situation for a long time. So like I can relate to her in a way of what it's like to have to live in a hotel and pay a lot of fucking money, because that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money. So I feel like out of all this situation right here is why she got triggered. Has nothing to do with what I said, because what I said was truth. And what it was is that she did not want to reflect on it. She did not want to simmer into it, what I said. She just wanted to argue about it because of this experience. Exactly, Shauna. Exactly, Shauna. Exactly. She wanted to talk about this situation. This is what she was angry about. It had nothing to do with the fact that I'm owning everything that I said that is happening, that transpired. Everything. And she calls herself a proclaimed celebrity psychic. And, you know, and she told me in the chat, in the voicemail, to look her up, and I did, and I found nothing of what she spoke about. And, you know, so I can't say that she's credible in what she's talking about. I mean, I agree with what she's saying, but she wanted me to, I don't know, the way she explained it was like, you just want my help. I don't want your help. I don't want your help. I was just having a conversation with you. I was just trying to discuss this and converse because I wanted you to understand that I had to learn for myself. Going into therapy and doing the parenting classes, I thought I had to be a better mother, not realizing that I needed to be a better version of myself. And that's the only way that I was going to be able to heal myself and do better as a person. Because in order for me to be a better parent, I need to be a better me. There's no way that it's going to work. I can't be a better parent and I'm still a shitty person. Like, that makes no sense. Like, you can't, it goes hand in hand. And she's like, oh, you're just trying to make it outside of you. No, it's about me. Like, you can't, like, it doesn't work. Like, and she, what she's explaining is like, it makes no sense. You cannot be a better parent and do better and stop being a toxic person if you do not own your shit. Your dark side, your good side, the bad side, the ugly side. You have to own all that. You have to acknowledge it. You have to be self-aware of every single thing that you're facing. And once you are able to do that, then you're able to become a better parent. Like, you can't, like, she contradicted herself throughout this whole live. All because of one comment that I made. All because of one comment. And it wasn't even the comment, it was the word that I used. Manipulate. Manipulative. That's what she was upset about. So, the other question I had on my title is, are you a toxic parent? Or are you being given bad advice? And people like this that be on YouTube and not YouTube, on Facebook and Instagram, talking about that they do readings and they can read your aura. I believe there's people out there that are spiritual enough to be able to do this, but from what she's spewing on here, I feel like it's fake. You're fake. You're fake. You told me to she told me to look her up through her hashtags. I ain't find shit. Talking about she got decades of reviews. I ain't find shit. And then you wanted to solicit some services for me, talking about I charge for services. I don't need your services. I don't need your help. It's clear that I don't need your help because you have nothing to offer me. And for the fact that this is what you do, and she was adamant about, this is what you do. You're not new to this, you're true to this. That's what she said. But honey, obviously, there's something else going on. There's way more going on. It's not about the issues that you're dealing. She blocked me because she asked me, was I going to continue to talk about, like, to comment and stuff on her page, and I said no. I'm going to still converse with you. With this, what you did here, you didn't get what you thought you was going to get out of me. You gonna stand firm on what you said, and I'm gonna stand firm on what I said. And I said what I said. Your issues had nothing, you were triggered by this moment. It had nothing to do with what I said. You were triggered because your mother told you that you were manipulating her. As a grown woman, you're a grown woman with children yourself, and you were triggered by this. So that means to me, that tells me that you are teaching this to your children. Because she even said it herself. You may not think your kids are listening. Her kids are probably in there because she obviously homeschools her kids. So they're listening to this conversation. So you're teaching your children how to be manipulative too. Right. Her situation is not mine. Exactly. So I wanted to come on here and just talk about this because I'm like, honey, like, you're upset about something that has nothing to do with me. You are super bothered. Super bothered about what I said. And because what I said was true. And I think what it is that, she's been telling people this for years, I guess. For her, she was saying, I've been doing this for over a decade. She's been telling people for years that children do not manipulate. And I think when I explained it to her and how, the best way I knew how, because I even told her, I said, maybe I'm using the wrong words. Maybe I'm not, explaining it in a way for both of us to understand. Because I'm like, I'm agreeing with you. Like, I 100% agree with you. We're on the same page. Like, you're speaking exactly what I'm talking about. But yet, you were triggered by the fact that I said that children are manipulative. Yeah, and each child is different with their behaviors. Like, everybody's different. But I can take accountability and say I taught it to my kids. Like, I'm the one that did it. Like, I can't be mad. Like, what am I supposed to be upset about? Like, truth is truth. I taught my kids how to be that way. I can't be mad about the facts. I did it. What can I do to change it? I need to heal myself. I need to focus on the why behind it and dig deeper into why I respond the way that I respond. Why does certain situations trigger me when it comes to my kids? Why do certain situations... And then it's not even my kids. I can't even say it's my kids. But for, the sake of the topic, So it's like, but this is for anybody. It doesn't matter if it's a child or your partner or anything like that. It's for everybody. What other people do to trigger you, there's a lesson behind it. And this situation with her has nothing to do with what I said. She's triggered by something else. So, are you really a toxic parent, or are you accepting advice from people that really don't have your best interest in mind? Because, all she kept talking about was money. I charge for this. I charge for that. I charge for this. This is my time. My time is money. Like, you sound more of a money, grabbing person than an actual spiritual person. someone who generally gives a shit. Like, you claim you care about kids, and you claim you care about parents doing better and trying to teach people how to parent a better way, but it didn't come off that way. That's not the vibe I was getting at all. At all. I was getting, I don't want to talk to you because you basically proved what I was saying was wrong. I debunked what you said. And mind you, she might she blocked me, but she might find this video and strike it. But her profile, like her Facebook, is public. She blocked me thinking that I wouldn't be able to have access to her Facebook and all that. But like, why'd you block me? You blocked me because you don't want me to talk about it. Why? Like, I don't understand. You talk about this. You made sure to make a 40-minute live to discuss the comment that I made, and she still did not give me any reasoning behind why children cannot manipulate. All she gave was you. No, like, I need the spiritual reasoning. What's your spiritual reasoning behind it? What is your woke opinion about it? There was no woke opinion, because everything that she said, I said is me. My child senses it. They have that energy. They can sense when, I'm not in my best place. And I allowed my child to sway my emotions and my actions. If I'm triggered by it, it has nothing to do with my child. I know it has nothing to do with what my child did, what they said. No, it has everything to do with me and how I feel about myself, how I think about myself. Majority of us come from broken parents. I know I do. And I carry a lot of the stuff that I had growing up, and I didn't realize that what I lacked, because she's right though. Like, my kids' behaviors is because of the fact that I lacked. My child needed something, and I lacked in that part because I didn't have it for myself. And so as years went on, they were taught how to be manipulative. They were taught how to lie. They were taught how to be sneaky. They were taught how to do how to steal and all that. It was taught to them because I allowed things to happen. I allowed behaviors. I allowed certain conversations to happen. Even though it would have been deemed to other people that it was disrespectful. But that was my guilt, my self-hate, my self-unworthiness. And so it's like, you like, ooh. I'm not triggered by it. It was just for me, like, how can you sit here and say that I need to reflect on something when I reflected on it, and I'm currently going through the situation. Am I where I need to be at? Hell to the fucking no. Do I want your services? Hell to the fucking no. I don't want your fucking services, because it's obvious that you're not on that level, because of the animosity, the trigger, the anger that you had built up in yourself had nothing to do with me. It was more so about the fact that your mother treated you the way that you didn't want to be treated. You're upset because your mother is not self-aware about herself so that you can heal. You don't need your mother to heal. I don't need my mother to heal myself. And that's what it sounds like to me, is like she wants her mother to be the one to heal so that in order for her to heal. No, you can't do that. You can't. If somebody doesn't heal and they die and they don't become self-aware and all that, and they die, you still going to hold that animosity for the rest of your life? You're not going to heal yourself because the person that you want to hear the apology and hear that, oh, I'm a self-aware, I realized where I fucked up, like, because you didn't get that conversation, you're going to continue to be angry and bitter towards other people? No, that don't work. You can't do that. And that's something I had to learn. I had to realize and accept the fact that I'm never going to have that conversation. I'm never going to have that apology. I'm never going to have that accountability from that other person. I'm never going to get it. I have to accept that. I had to accept that it's never going to happen. And once I let go and accepted it, I was able to realize, okay, so since that's not going to happen, I need to take accountability for my shit. I need to take accountability for what I did wrong. And I ain't gonna front, like, of course, there was times where my kids was triggering me and I was getting frustrated. Now I can look back and realize that I was not frustrated or triggered by my child. I was frustrated and triggered by myself. It was me. I was the one that did it. It's because I did not love myself. It's because I did not have any self-respect. It's because I did not have any self-worth. And my child sensed it. Your children can sense your energy. Your children can feel that. And of course, they're going to test you and see what they can get away with. So if they say something to you and it makes you feel guilty or sad or angry or frustrated, you allowed your child to sway your feelings and your actions. That's manipulation. Not saying that it's your child's fault. I'm not saying that. Because some people might be like, oh, well, you're blaming the child. I'm not blaming the child. I'm just saying it's possible. That's how the cycle continues on and on. These teenagers are something else these days. If you don't let them run the streets, we're toxic. Yeah. And that's what she was saying. Like, I'm toxic. Because I'm saying that my child is manipulative. But my child is manipulative. But I taught her how to do that. I taught them how to do that. I taught them how to lie, steal. I taught them how to do every single thing. Unconsciously, consciously, intentionally, unintentionally. It was taught. Because I didn't know how to do it for myself. I didn't know how to forgive. I didn't know how to heal myself. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to respect myself. Every single time I was saying yes, I was disrespecting myself. Every single time I said okay or agreed to something, I was disrespecting myself. Not realizing I was teaching my children how to do that. Not realizing I was teaching my children how to be disrespectful to themselves. How to not have self-love, not to have any self-worth. I was teaching my kids that. I'm like, you're teaching your kids how to be that way. If you're in an abusive relationship, everybody always talks about abusive relationships. If you're in an abusive relationship, you're teaching your kids, if you have sons and your husband's in the house beating your ass, you're teaching your son how to be abusive. That's what a lot of people say. But then when it comes to the word manipulate, no, that's garbage. That's not true. That's not, your kids can't do that. It's because your child needed something. Yes, my child needed something and I did not have it to give. So how can I give it to my child if I'm lacking? Obviously, it's because I taught it to her. I taught it to him. I taught it to all of them. Yes, we're the worst person if we don't allow our children to do what they want to do. And it was funny because, like, I realized that, like, when you decide to set boundaries, and mind you, like, with me, there was no boundaries. When it came to my children, I didn't have any boundaries. None that were healthy. It was transactional. Transactional relationships. Everybody, we all do it. If you do this and do that, I love you. If you don't do that and you don't do this, I don't like you. We do it all the time. We do it every single day. With our kids, with our partners, with our family. With her, that's how she felt with her mom. Her mom felt like it was transactional because she seemed like every time you call me, you need money. And she feels like her relationship with her mother is transactional because her mom's not on that pedestal and it has that standard of a self-awareness in order for them to have a healthy relationship. It's transactional. I do it with my husband all the time. I do it with my kids all the time. It may not seem like, I may not realize that it's a bad thing or it's a toxic thing, but we do it. My parents never told us they loved us, and we found ourselves doing the same. Yeah, see? And see, with me, like, I didn't grow up in that, like, picture perfect family where we sat down for dinner and had family, conversations and sat and talk about how we feel and how we think and stuff like that, and what our goals and aspirations are. I didn't have that growing up. So I did it with my kids. But I allowed too much. And I allowed so much to the point where I didn't have any self-respect for myself to say, okay, I agree with that, or okay, that's fine. Like, if my child said something that was blatantly disrespectful, curse words, calling me all types of names, instead of me doing something about it or correcting it, I didn't. I taught my child how to be that way. That's because I didn't have it. So I didn't know how to build that healthy relationship. I didn't know how to build healthy boundaries with other people. Because I was taught that growing up. That there is no boundary. Like if you have boundaries, there's going to be chaos. It's going to be drama. So I had that with my kids. We did the conversations and sat down and had the one-on-ones and sat down and, discussed things. And even in that moment, even if I didn't feel comfortable and felt like, it was wrong, or I felt like I didn't have the right to say anything or to rebuttal what they were saying, because I was feeling guilty, because I didn't have no self-love for myself. So that is the end of this live. The kids are going to start coming in. So I wanted to end the live here. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts and what you guys think. But yeah, I want to do more lives like this, have more conversations, and talk more, because I feel like I'm now at a place where I can be like, girl, you wrong. You wrong. And sometimes I do gotta check myself and be like, oh, don't do that, Vicki. Don't do that. If you gotta take a moment, walk away. Think about what it is that you want to say, do. Like, I'm now at a place where I can actually hold myself accountable to what I say and what I do. And I can sit here and say that I'm the one that taught everything to my kids. I taught them how to be the way they are. I taught other people how it's okay to treat me because I allowed it. Woof. All right. So I'm going to hop off of here. I need to edit a video and get it up for you guys. If y'all want to have more lives like this, let me know. Because there's a lot of things that I really want to talk about. There's a lot of topics. I want to bring more people on here. She didn't want to come on here. She was bothered and upset. She didn't want to come on here and talk. But which is fine, but I told her, I was like, I'm going to be using this. I hope you come to my live and, jump in or whatever. But she blocked me. She's mad. She was up there. Yeah, we learn every day. And then there's something always that for me to learn. Because, I'm not going to sit here in front and sit here and say that she was wrong. She's telling, no, what she was saying was facts. She wasn't lying. She was on point with what she was saying, but the conversation about her mom was basically, that's the problem. It has nothing to do with what I said. Nothing. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be doing more lives like this. I do plan on doing the book club. I have set up the join for the memberships. I try to make it like 99 cents so that way y'all not paying a whole bunch of money to join the book club. But I wanted to do more lives for like the book club so that we can do more like the Law of Attraction books and all the books that I bought. I've been reading them and writing notes and stuff like that. So if y'all are interested, definitely join the membership so that you guys can hop in on lives, because those are not going to be public. I'm going to have those off to the side because I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable sharing things about their lives publicly on the platform. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Make sure y'all are thumbsing it up. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.
Mommy,
Yes.
what do you